Hey, what's up, YouTube? What's up, dreamers? I'm Dee Marie. Welcome to my channel, Dee Marie Dreams. I am a divorce and dream coach, an author, an investor, and a professor. Today, I want to talk to you about limiting beliefs. In my opinion, I believe there are two most common limiting beliefs that I myself have suffered from. I also believe that many people suffer from these two most common limiting beliefs. Today, I want to discuss the top limiting belief, and then next week, I'll discuss the second most common limiting belief. So, what is a limiting belief, you might ask? Well, as its name states, limiting belief. It is a belief that limits you. It's a belief that is somehow subconsciously implanted, and it causes us to think or feel a certain way about ourselves that's very limiting, that's very damaging. Now, if you don't rectify these limiting beliefs, so in other words, if you don't get healing to correct them, or if you don't just take action to correct them, they can impact your life negatively. So, what's the most common limiting belief, you might ask? I personally believe it is feeling unworthy. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Let me know in the comments below if you have ever felt unworthy. I can tell you that I personally have felt this limiting belief so many times in my entire life. So probably when I was about teenager, I would say, is when it first started to rear its head. And then of course in early adulthood. Most recently was during my divorce. And so during my divorce, that was a time for me that I just felt unworthy, unloved, like I failed, right? And so again, many times throughout our lives, we may experience this type of limiting belief for whatever reason. There's so many different reasons. Now, you might ask, why do we struggle with these limiting beliefs? And I honestly think there's so many different reasons. But I think one of the most common reasons why we suffer from limiting beliefs is because of society. Society has conditioned us to feel unworthy, to feel unloved, to feel like we always have to keep up with the Joneses, like, social media. Oh, this girl looks like this, or this guy looks like that. I have to have this, I have to have that. Society is one of those things that conditions us to feel unworthy. Again, there's many, many, many different reasons, but I think that that's the most common. A few things you can do to eradicate the feeling of unworthiness. So tip number one, work with a professional, whether it be a counselor or a coach or both. I personally worked with both and I got great results from both. And so it's nothing like working with someone and having an accountability partner to help you in your healing journey so that you can talk things through and also come up with a plan for what you intend to do to get out of that slump, that feeling of unworthiness. Take baby steps. Don't think that you're going to change overnight. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace and give yourself patience. And number two, definitely acknowledge your feelings. Try to get to the root for why you think you feel unworthy, why you think you feel unloved, and just be mindful of that. Don't underestimate writing in a journal. Don't underestimate the small things like that, because those small little things really do help. I started keeping a journal when I was working with my coach, and to this day, that was 3 years ago. To this day, I still keep a journal because it's so helpful. So that's definitely one of the biggest recommendations that I can suggest. Tip number 3, work on your mindset. I can't stress this enough. When I was going through my journey, I had to really, really, really be vigilant on working on my mindset, because if you're not working on your mindset, it's a lost cause. Your mind controls everything. So definitely work on your mindset and grow your mindset, because a lot of people are walking around with a broken mindset and wondering why they can't fix certain things or do certain things or can't supersede a certain level. So you really have to take that into consideration, and that's one of the biggest things that I had to work on when I was going through my healing journey. Work to amp up your self-love. So I know that it sounds cliche, but you really have to amp up and push up that self-love. Now, keep in mind that there is so many facets to self-love, and self-love, yes, on one end does mean bubble baths and your favorite meals, taking yourself on dates and going to a movie, eating cheesecake and sipping on champagne and all those wonderful things. But self-love and self-care also means to see a coach when you need to, work on your mindset when you need to. It also means saying no when you don't feel like doing something. It also means not being a perfectionist. I always like to say I'm a recovering perfectionist, because before my healing journey, I always had to make sure everything was perfect. But I now know that that was brokenness, trying to make sure everything is perfect. And it's not perfection that we should be focused on, it's really progression. We should always continue to work on ourselves and make progress instead of masking things and trying to be perfect. So that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned in my own healing journey. Tip number 5, keep in mind that no one is going to love you like you. And I mean nobody. So that's definitely something to keep high up on that list. Nobody's gonna love you like you, so make sure you are always looking out for your best interest. Tip number 6, don't be afraid to work on yourself daily. And I mean every single day. Every single day, I'm always making sure that I'm working on me and I'm evolving and I'm trying to reach my highest vibrational self. And I am not in any competition with anybody except myself, because I want to be the best that I can be. Tip number 7, this is one of my favorite ones, I must admit. Keep a running list of all of the wonderful things that you love about yourself. Keep a list of the things that not only you love about yourself, but the things that you are very good at, your strengths, your goals, your talents. Keep in mind that it's about the journey and the lessons. Again, it's not about perfection, and it's about making progress. I can't stress that enough. Never stop working on you, because you are your biggest investment. Once I figured that out for myself, then man, game changer, let me tell you. Lastly, keep in mind that self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-compassion, what do they all have in common? I'll wait. That's right. They all start with self. So look to yourself to tell you that you're beautiful. Look to yourself to pat yourself on the back. Look to yourself to tell you, you know what? I'm really proud of you. That was really difficult, but you still accomplished that goal, that dream. Look to yourself. Look within yourself. And don't forget to pour into yourself. Value your own compliments above everybody else's compliment. And keep in mind, if you get a compliment from somebody else, that's completely fine. That's wonderful, but that's just extra on top of the compliment that you already paid yourself. Seek approval from yourself. I really hope that you got something out of this video. Like I said, let me know below if you have struggled with feeling unworthy and if there's something that you do to combat that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something from this video. I'm Dee Marie, and don't forget, next week we'll be talking about the second most common limiting belief. Take care. See you in the next one.